Today we've got Galactus versus the Anti-Monitor versus Unicron. Three of the most powerful beings in the multiverse, able to casually destroy planets and threaten the universe. But in a fight between the three of them, well, who's ultimately coming out on top? Let's get into it. Enter Galactus. After the destruction of his home multiverse, Galen made a deal with his universe's version of eternity in order to merge and be reborn as the cosmic being Galactus. As Galactus, his role in the universe is to bring equity in order to ensure that oversaturation doesn't happen in this universe too. This is accomplished through the power cosmic, of which he's the living nexus. His power isn't infinite though, which is why he has to rejuvenate himself by feeding on planets. Galactus is strong enough to absolutely manhandle Thor and casually take out Beta Ray Bill and his own Herald Stardust with just one hit. Then he's durable enough where that he can casually take attacks from pretty much every hero out there. And on top of that, can sit inside an exploding star or enter the core of a galaxy absolutely no problem. And that's just scratching the surface. Galactus with the power cosmic is capable of a whole lot. Like instantly one-shotting the Hulk and Silver Surfer, or having a battle with Mephisto that destroyed planets, shattered stars, and threw galaxies into turmoil. He's approached 5 elders of the universe, cosmic beings who are among the oldest beings in the entire universe, and simply drained them out of existence. He's had several fights that threaten to destroy the galaxy and destroy the universe. He can fight against and beat infinitely powerful reality warpers, and even his heralds are insane and in a tier of their own. End of the day, Galactus is straight up an abstract being in the Marvel Universe, on par with beings like Eternity and Mistress Death. The Anti-Monitor is definitely one of the most confusing abstract beings in DC Comics. I mean, the guy's 4 official origin stories, none of which really mesh or go well with each other. But the gist is, the Anti-Monitor is a high-tier cosmic being that controls the antimatter universe, with the ultimate goal of destroying all positive matter, absorbing it into himself as antimatter, and recreating the multiverse in his image. While the Anti-Monitor is definitely one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. You can kind of dumb it down and say that he has 2 basic incarnations of himself. The version from Crisis on Infinite Earths, the one that was created after the Crisis on Infinite Earths event. The Crisis on Infinite Earths Anti-Monitor was the one responsible for rebooting the entire DC universe, and he's comfortably a multiversal threat. But after he died, well, then he was reborn with significantly less power, but still more than enough power to pose a significant threat to everyone in DC. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, well, to be fair, Anti-Monitor was getting more and more powerful throughout the series. He got that power by absorbing positive matter universes in the multiverse and transforming it into the antimatter universe. As this happens, well, the antimatter universe doesn't just grow, but the Anti-Monitor gets more and more powerful. His goal is to consume all the universes in the multiverse in order to become all-powerful. Problem is, it looks like the Anti-Monitor takes a little bit of time to actually absorb that power into himself. This might be a weird inconsistency for the character, but it does explain why the Anti-Monitor can take a beating from Supergirl in one moment, then later on, he can take attacks from all the strongest heroes in DC and barely even flinch. we're going to be focusing more on the stronger version of the Anti-Monitor here. For starters, the Anti-Monitor has been able to stalemate the Monitor for 1,000,000 years, at the point where the Monitor was backed up and empowered by the entire DC multiverse, and the Anti-Monitor was backed up and empowered by the whole antimatter universe. So he was already an equal to the Monitor. Then he began consuming positive matter universes, becoming even more powerful. Actually got to the point where the Anti-Monitor destroyed an infinite number of infinite-sized universes and all the infinite timelines that were held in each one. Only 5 universes were left behind because they were saved by the Monitor. Not only that, but the Anti-Monitor went on to actually consume his own antimatter universe, which was pretty much directly equal to the size and scope of the DC multiverse. And at his best, at the height of all his power, well, the Anti-Monitor traveled back in time in order to eliminate everything and fought against the Spectre, the wrath of God himself, in a fight that threatened to destroy all of existence. Basically, Anti-Monitor is comfortably a multiversal being because the dude can casually destroy universes like it's nothing and threaten the very multiverse itself. Unicron is many things: the devil, the yin to your yang, the destroyer, the devourer, and mainly the evil god of the Transformers multiverse, embodying the forces of chaos, darkness, and evil. He was created by the One, who's pretty much the equivalent to the One Above All or the Presence from Marvel or DC. And the One is someone who existed before time and space, or even existed before the multiverse itself. It's been heavily debated on just what exactly the One is. It's either the creator of the multiverse, maybe even the Omniverse, or the sentient core of the multiverse. But the One created Unicron and sent him out into this new multiverse in order to explore it and discover it. But what Unicron discovered was that the multiverse was noisy and loud, and so he decided to destroy it all in order to finally find peace and quiet. And that's what Unicron did. He destroyed and consumed everything. Every planet, every galaxy, the very essence of the universe itself, until there was only the void left, all in an attempt to find peace and quiet. But Unicron wasn't quite thorough, and there was still bits of the old multiverse that remained. They reacted with each other, forming the Big Bang, and suddenly a new multiverse was formed. This is our multiverse now. And so Unicron woke up from his slumber and got to destroying again. Except this time, in order to defend this new world, the One made Primus, a twin brother to Unicron, in order to bring about a balance between chaos and order. And that's kind of where we pick up. Unicron is still trying to devour the whole multiverse, end everything, and find peace and nothingness. And the forces of Primus, so like Optimus Prime and the Transformers, backed with Primus on their side, are trying to stop him. So Unicron is basically just like Galactus. In fact, Galactus can make a pretty strong copyright infringement case against him. But the chief difference here is that while Galactus is dedicated to consuming planets around him, that's how he feeds his hunger, Unicron decided to go just a bit bigger. He's dedicated to not just eating planets or moons or stars, but the very fabric of the universe and existence, with his end goal being the consumption of the entire multiverse. And just so you know, in Transformers especially, that is a very, very big deal. Basically, think about it this way. In the Transformers multiverse, there are an infinite number of universes, featuring an infinite number of possibilities, to the point where anything that can happen does happen somewhere out there in the multiverse. And just to back that up, The Transtech, basically the Watchers of the multiverse, have cataloged almost 16 million universes, while Bugbite, a dimensional traveler, has counted over 15 quadrillion universes. So the idea of literally an infinite number of universes really doesn't sound that far off. From there, all the universes throughout the multiverse are organized in universal clusters, which are like mini multiverses that represent a particular continuity in Transformers. And that universal cluster contains all the universes of said continuity. So like there would be a live action universal cluster, an animated cluster, a comics cluster, and so on and so forth. And then between these universes, there exists a place known as the transwarp space, which is a non-space-time place where terrifying elder gods live. Then it goes up, too. Keeping in line with string theory, the multiverse contains somewhere between 17 to 20 different dimensional layers on top of itself. And it's not just that either. Just to really drive home the point, each of these universes have been confirmed to be infinite in size as well. So we're talking about something just astronomically massive in size. It's actually legit insane. The cosmology of Transformers is just a massive rabbit hole, but hopefully that's just a baseline understanding of how big it is. And Unicron being Unicron, his goal is to devour all of this. And he actually already has done it. For a multiverse this big and this complex, Unicron has already devoured the entirety of it, leaving only fragments behind. It became the center of the void of nothingness that was left. That's insanely impressive and demonstrates just how powerful he is. But it's really just scratching the surface of all the crazy feats that Unicron has done. I mean, in terms of combat abilities, Unicron has shown himself to be better than Primus, and in their fights, well, their battles shook the entire universe, destroying worlds, imploding suns, and wiping out all of life all around them. And Primus is definitely nothing to scoff at. I mean, as the brother of Unicron, and being created by the One, Primus is meant to be the very concept of good and order within the multiverse, the Lord of the Light Gods, and the ultimate rival and counterforce to the Dark Gods and Unicron. He's insanely powerful, to the point where the 13 primes, which were made from mere fragments of the essence of Primus, and they're multiversal beings, were created to serve and protect the multiverse. Like one of the 13 was Solus Prime, who created the Star Saber, which could collapse the entire multiverse in on itself and effectively end existence altogether. Then another one of the primes was Megatronus, who is an omniversal tyrant who can use forces similar in power to the Big Bang, and was threatening to destroy the universal streams of the multiverse before Primus killed him. So Unicron being better and more powerful than Primus is definitely no small feat. It's nothing to scoff at. Primus can literally make multiversal threats from mere fragments of his power. And again, that's just a little bit of what Unicron has shown us. Like he's capable of folding trans-dimensional space at a nearly limitless extent. He can create pocket dimensions, he can constantly calculate probabilities by his internally integrated network of sentient quantum computers. His very existence is enough to threaten the fabrics of space-time and destroy galaxies. Unicron can't even technically die or be killed, and he's got no known weaknesses, outside of the matrix of leadership, which contains Primus's essence. And he's used all this power and all these abilities to go about trying to consume the multiverse once again. Due to this so-called Unicron phenomenon, Unicron has devoured 1,176,325 universal streams within this new multiverse. so just about approximately 22% of the Transformers multiverse already. And he's still hungry for more. He's not going to stop until he can consume the entire thing. Then of course there is this thing known as the Unicron Singularity. It basically looks like just a gigantic black hole in the sky, but it's actually Unicron's unbound form. And while Unicron alive wants to destroy every universe, turns out that Unicron being destroyed is basically the same thing too, except much, much worse. This black hole is the very essence of Unicron. It was formed after he was destroyed, all to fulfill Unicron's ultimate goal, just sucking up the entire multiverse into nothingness. And this black hole was gonna do just that. It was going to destroy the entire multiverse, destroy all of reality. It actually did manage to destroy and damage countless universes, and it would have gone on to gobble up all of Transformers if it wasn't for Primus using his absolute full power in order to hold it back. So basically, Unicron, the Devourer, the Chaos Bringer, the King of the Dark Gods, well, he is an immensely powerful being. He can devour absolutely anything in his path, ranging from planets, galaxies, to entire universes, or even the whole multiverse. He's already destroyed the multiverse once. He's trying to do it again a second time. I never thought I would see a character this powerful in something that was basically a giant advertisement for toys. The Unicron is basically a threat to the Omniverse itself. He might be one of the most powerful villains in all of fiction. So, 3 insanely powerful beings, and 3 beings that when they're at their best, well, you can argue they're all multiversal. Like take the Anti-Monitor for instance. He's been called the most powerful being to ever live. He's been able to crack open the multiverse. He can consume universes like it's nothing. And when him and his 2 brothers merged to become the Ultra Monitor, well, they were able to fight evenly with Perpetua, one of the hands of the greater Omniverse and the creator of the multiverse. So I guess you can say that the Anti-Monitor is 1/3 of Perpetua. So that's like crazy powerful. Of course, this does really depend on how powered up Anti-Monitor is at the moment, because he's also lost to Supergirl, and that isn't necessarily an off showing. Again, it entirely depends on how powered up he is. While he's at his peak, he's multiversal. He's not always that powerful though. You can't just ignore that the Guardians or Darkseid are able to fight against him. Or heck, the fact that the Spectre was able to actually beat him in Crisis on Infinite Earths. You can make basically the same argument with Galactus here too. At his best, Galactus is considered to be a cornerstone of existence and a being on par with eternity and death, and tasked with maintaining the balance between the two. Basically meaning that he is an inner working part of the Omniverse and on par with other multiversal abstracts. And we see that too, because when all of his power is unleashed as a bomb, well, it was able to destroy the Black Winter, who in turn had destroyed the 6th iteration of Eternity, was essentially the all-death that could destroy everything. And if you want to compare him directly to the Anti-Monitor, well, the Anti-Monitor was directly on par with Darkseid, and Darkseid could do jack squat against Galactus, and couldn't stop Galactus from consuming Apocalypse. Of course, that's Galactus at his best, when he's fully fed, and he's never really fully fed. There have been plenty of low showings against him too. Like heck, he was actually straight up killed by Thor. Granted, an extremely powerful Thor, but still. And then you get to Unicron, and man, Unicron is just a beast altogether. Unicron is so powerful, that he straight up consumed 27% of the whole omniverse and all of creation. And the idea of the omniverse in Transformers is kinda crazy. Basically, it's an extension of the Transformers multiverse that includes any kind of fiction that has humans in it. Humans and Transformers are inherently destined to be connected throughout all of existence, and this transcends through different fictions. And because of that, we can argue that the Omniverse includes both Marvel and DC, and Unicron consumed 27% of all of that. Not even to mention, the Transformers cosmology contains between 17 to 21 different higher dimensions, which Unicron destroyed. So there's just a lot going on here. Every single one of these beings can win. They both have enough high showings and low showings to argue that they will in fact win. But this is where I want to circle back around to Galactus. See, everyone here has evolved to become concepts that transcend above all boundaries and dimensions. They've all got some seriously impressive feats, and they all scale incredibly high within their own respective cosmologies. Anti-Monitor has consumed most of the DC multiverse before. Unicron has eaten up to 27% of Transformers, but Galactus scales to the Chaos King, who consumed 98.76% of Marvel. So just by numbers, well, Galactus should take the edge. And how does Galactus scale to the Chaos King? Well, Galactus fought in his battle against Scryer, which Oblivion said the Chaos War was just a prelude to the Scryer and that fight. And in that battle, Galactus destroyed the infinite multiverse. And just like in both DC and Transformers 2, each universe in Marvel is basically like infinity upon infinity upon infinity. They're stupid big and absolutely limitless. Just by numbers, Galactus takes the edge here. Then of course there's the ultimate nullifier, which has to be one of the most broken devices in all of Marvel. It's capable of erasing cosmic beings out of existence. It's able to destroy the entire multiverse. It's even able to erase eternity out of existence. Galactus has also fought and won against beings like Unicron and Anti-Monitor. Like he fought against Scryer, he fought against the multiversal abstract In-Betweener, and he fought against Abraxas, the embodiment of destruction, and the opposite of the multi-eternity, which is the embodiment of the entire Marvel Omniverse. It's quite literally everything. Galactus scales to that, especially when you factor in the ultimate nullifier. Every one of these villains is broken, and you can make an argument for each and every one of them. They've all got enough low showings and high showings to argue who would win here. But if we're considering that each of them at their best and their most powerful, well, I think Galactus takes a slight edge. I think he's gonna win. Galactus wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.